For very many years, we've been living in this deception in Nigeria. We always tell ourselves that as long as we have a car, as long as we have a big car or a big house, we have high fences, we can lock our gates, we have generator, we have boreholes, that things will nothing bad will happen to us. That's the deception we have been living. Bombs are dropping everywhere, from Iraq, from America. Bombs are just dropping. I'm sure if they do a statistic to find out, if they conduct a statistics to find out how many young Nigerians are willing to stay in Nigeria, you find out that most young Nigerians are tired of Nigeria. And it's not only people from maybe poor households or from average households. They are actually Nigerians that are living in these exclusive neighborhoods, children of Nigerians living in these exclusive neighborhoods. Young people 16, 17, they are all tired of Nigeria, or they see Nigeria as a place where they suffer. They see Europe and America as a place where people are enjoying. It's a crisis in Nigeria. What's happening? Now, you may be a parent, or you may be someone, you are a teenager, or you're in your 20s, you are planning to relocate. Sometimes relocation is not the answer. Do we remember that time that some children, some young people went to Ukraine? Ukraine is a country in Europe, and as we speak, they are having a war. Now, some young Nigerians were in Ukraine during their war. They did not plan, of course, they did not know that they were going to fight a war in the nation. They just felt like they were going there to get an education. And when they got there, they were caught in the crossfire. There was a war, and things in Ukraine turned upside down. And one thing, when you are a foreigner, one thing that foreigners don't know, when you are a foreigner, when there's a crisis, you will be the most vulnerable victim. You will be the most vulnerable victim. Now, there are classes of young people that travel abroad. Some of them are children of these very rich people that have everything here in Nigeria. Their parents send them to abroad. They are not even used to doing normal things that people do. They have house helps, they have nanny, they are living a soft life. So they don't feel that things are just like okay for them. But sometimes when they travel abroad, they now find out that things are not the way they expected. Things are happening. So now what happened in Ukraine was that during the civil war, and they are still fighting the war till today, or during the war they are having, some children were stuck. These are children that they are not even used to going to buy something on the road in the same street. When I was young, I was able, my parents could send me to go and buy things at the store. They would send me to do basic things, and I'll be able to do those things. It wasn't such a big deal. But now, children of today, you can't. There's a friend of mine that the son, she came to see me, and I said the son should go to a store on that same street, to a store, provision store, to buy one or two things that we needed. I wanted to cook for them. And she said that her son was about 11, 12, cannot even go out to buy things. Can you imagine? So there are some children that they are so spoilt in this part of the world, and they now go abroad. They now start experiencing real problem. Now, during that Ukraine war, some children were now forced to trek long distances because they had to run. It was like there was chaos. People were looking for a way to leave the country. So they had to run. They had to go to the border, to borders that maybe, I think Ukraine and Romania, they share a border. I'm not sure now. But they had to go to places where they could escape from the country. And so they were standing out because the way they treated them was so bad. When they got to the border, first of all, to get to the border, they had to trek long distances. Just imagine these children that were used to having their driver, having their chauffeurs, having people wash their clothes, having people sweep the house, do everything for them. They now had to be forced to trek long distances to the border. And when they got to the border, people were like, they did not allow people that were blacks. They were now separating them. If you are a black, they will not allow you cross the border. Blacks now became endangered species. The blacks were now in situations, they were discriminating against them. Other nations did not want to accept black refugees, people that were black. They allowed the whites to pass, but the blacks, they treated them in a bad manner. So when it comes to this Nigerian project, let's not be thinking that, oh, it's other people that suffer. There was a time in Nigeria, at least, when you look at when they're talking about Africa, maybe they're showing things about Africa. When they show poor people, they show poor people fetching water with buckets on their heads, trekking long distances to fetch water because they don't have water in their area. Of course, electricity. Let's not even talk about electricity. They don't have anything connected to electricity. So that is how it has been, and people are thinking that that's how it will remain. Something happened just yesterday. I had somebody came and she came to wash her clothes. She came to wash her clothes. This is someone that lives in Asokoro. So you assume that because somebody lives in Asokoro, everything is perfect. But the structures are failing in Nigeria. You know that the structure failed somebody like Chimamanda Adichie. Her son, her one of her sons, her precious son, she came for a holiday in Nigeria and she lost her son. And it wasn't in a normal hospital. She went to one of the best hospitals in Nigeria. That's where she went to get treated. And she's popular. So they must have done what they thought was their best to take care of the child because she's not just a regular person. But you see what happened? She became a victim. My heart goes out to the family. But I'm just using it as an example so that we know that once you're in Nigeria, don't think that you can escape what's coming. You cannot escape. So we all have to come together and fix this nation. One way or the other will be affected. Now, this person came from Asokoro. And the person I'm talking about that lives in Asokoro lives not so far from where the president lives. Not so far where the person lives. But as we speak, they don't have light. They have cut off some people from getting light. They say the pressure is too high. And guess what? It's an allegation. They were asking for bribe. The people in charge, the water board people, the people in charge of fixing it, I don't know who. It's an allegation. But it was alleged that they were asking for bribe, telling them to pay between 1.5 million or 1.5 million to get water. I mean, if you are like water board, the electricity company, their job is to provide light and electricity and water. That is why people are paying tax. So why will a taxpayer be told to pay money to get light, to get water? And these things have been happening all over Nigeria. Let's not deceive ourselves. It's been happening. But now it's now like the decay is so much that it's spreading. How can people that are living not so far from the president of Nigeria where he lives, they will not have water? They have to now start moving around looking for water in 2026. The structures are failing. Now, for example, in Lagos, there are some exclusive areas like Ikoyi, VI, even places like Lekki. So one would assume that, oh, when you live in Lekki, things you will not have any need to, go through any inconvenience, or you live in Aja or VGC particularly. But when there's flood in Lagos, it affects people in Lekki, it affects people even in VGC. So you see why I'm saying all these things is that Nigeria is everybody's project. Even if you're a young person, you may feel like, oh, you want to live the soft life. It's giving, I want to do this, I want to do this because it's giving, all those kind of things. But you have to realize that this Nigerian project, everybody, how can we all do things? It's not about, when you keep on doing things and you ignore the rest people. They say it's turn by turn. If you are not careful, one day you get into a situation that you'll be so shocked. See what happened to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is an international star just by visiting Nigeria. And see what happened to him. You may feel that, oh, let me go abroad. Do you know what's happening? Right now, there's even this speculation that there's going to be a world war. There's this speculation, what's happening in Iran. I don't want to go political, but there are things happening in Iran. There are things happening in America. They are saying that they may try to bomb Iran and all that. And if these things continue, see what happened in Venezuela. They just came out. American government took the Venezuelan president, and other countries, they are not happy. They are having tension, world powers, Russia, China, America. So if a world war happens, what will happen to you if you think you are traveling abroad? So let's stop this thing that we've been doing when we assume that, oh, it's other people that will suffer it. There's a crisis. And wherever you are a civil servant. Even if you're a teenager, your parents are civil servants. And you see that the kind of money that they spend is not consistent with the salary they earn. Ask your parents questions. Don't be scared. Ask your parents that, you know, ask them, you don't be rude, but ask them that this money that we have, how come we have this money when you are earning this particular money? Where is the money coming from? Talk to them, tell them, keep on reminding them that people are suffering. If you are someone, politicians, or people that are in government, when you are with them, keep on reminding them. Don't make them forget that people are suffering, that Nigerians expect a lot from them. Now, even in Maitama, there was a time recently, Aisha Yesufu, she reported in her channel, she reported that there was light, they did not have light in Maitama. And I know times and in Asokoro, even when I've gone there to stay once in a while, that there will not be light. So electricity or even water is not guaranteed. You can imagine. So what is happening in areas where people don't even know anybody? Just imagine. That is why Chimamanda's relation, the auntie of her little boy that lost his life, was saying it. She said that the reason why she's speaking is not only for Chimamanda's case. She's speaking for every Nigerian. She's speaking for every Nigerian because she said if that kind of thing that happened to Chimamanda's son could happen in an exclusive hospital, what is happening in regular hospitals? So we all have to speak up for Nigerians. If you are a doctor, you are in a hospital, you are a nurse, you are a civil servant, try to do what you can do. You have friends, even if in you have friends that work for government. Keep on reminding them whatever that they should remember the poor. They should do don't accept them. Don't make their wayward or their corrupt lifestyle. Don't accept it. Keep on reminding them and let us do whatever we can in whatever way we can to make sure that the poor Nigerians are given some reprieve. Don't give them fish. Teach them how to fish. Make opportunities for them. Make yes, yes, of course, people will say, okay, they are poor, they need help. Yes, you can give